It's time for my FBS Conference Power Ranking. Starting at number 10 at the bottom, I've got the MAC. It's an undoubtedly fun conference that has some excellent top-tier teams like Miami of Ohio and Toledo, but it's that bottom tier that just drags them down a lot. They're always going to have some of the worst teams in college football like Kent State and Akron this year. At number 9, leading by a small margin, I've got the CUSA. Conventional wisdom would tell you they should be lower because they've kind of been like an FCS feeder, but some of their best programs were recently in the FCS, and I think that'll show again this season with Missouri State and Delaware probably being solid teams. The Mountain West has some fantastic top-tier teams, obviously, like Boise State and Fresno State and Colorado State, but the lower tier of the conference has really struggled in recent memory, and it's probably going to be that way again this year. The Sun Belt has been the deepest Group of 5 conference for a while now. There are teams that can beat you all over the schedule in this conference, and usually there's one or two exceptions of teams that are truly bad, but for the most part, a lot of fantastic teams in this conference. The American easily has the deepest top tier of any Group of 5 conference, which is ultimately what carries them to the number 6 spot. Yes, it's true the Pac-12 only has 2 teams, but those 2 teams average out to be better than the average American team or Sun Belt team or any Group of 5 conference. The ACC takes the spot as the lowest ranked power conference here. It's a really thin margin between them and number 3, but ultimately it boils down to a pretty bad bottom tier like teams like Cal and Stanford that have a ton to figure out and a bunch of issues from the offseason. The Big 12 occupies the 3 spot. They might not have the same depth of their top tier as the ACC has, but they have the overall depth to give them a leg up here. The Big 10 has an extremely deep top tier and probably the best 1 through 6 of any conference in college football, but there's 18 teams in this conference and there's just a lot of room for mediocrity once you get to the lower tiers, and that shows in some of these schedules. And at number 1, I've got the SEC. I think they have a very comparable top tier to the Big 10 that's possibly better this season, but what really ends the debate is just the overall depth of the SEC. I think you can go much deeper into that conference and still find teams that would be very successful in other conferences, and that's the reason the SEC still gets the top spot despite, I think, not really being the best conference last season.